Hey everybody, good morning. I'm going to jump right in. This is some inspiration from Salt in the Kitchen. It's just an old vintage book that I had, and it's just a great little inspiration, one Bible reading and some inspiration of around that Bible reading. So, better than a tranquilizer. This is a Bible reading from Philippians 4:4-8. Here is a last piece of advice. Fix your minds on the things which are holy and right and pure and beautiful and good, and you will find that the God of peace will be with you. Surely there is no better psychological restorative than this verse in all of God's word. Think on these things. The King James Bible says these refers to balance, restoring, nerve calming thoughts. Undoubtedly, the Apostle Paul wrestled often with his thoughts of friends who had forsaken him, converts who had disappointed him, his own physical discomfort, the uncertain future, and the very real possibility of a violent death. Far from dwelling on these things, Paul left us a formula for triumphing over such thoughts. His advice to the Christians in Philippi was, think on what will uplift you, not on what will drag you into depression and despair. This was not winking at facts as they were, neither was his extortion to make the best of a bad thing. Paul knew the mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual value of such thinking, such as fixing your mind. Real value, not to be compared for a moment with the world's panacea, tranquilizers. Whatsoever things are lovely will crowd out the unlovely. Again, Salt in the Kitchen by Jeanette Lockerbie. This is from the early 70s, I think. And the message is quite simple. When we focus on the positive, we're going to present our mind in a way that is going to be helpful and supportive to us. When we look to the victory of, where we're headed and, focus on the positive things and to encourage our own self, to do self-encouragement like, hey, Anne, that was great today. You completed these tasks that you set out to do, and, you did great. Like, it's better to encourage yourself than to, quote, discourage yourself. If I missed something on my list, for example, I didn't get to my exercise yesterday, and I just needed more rest yesterday for a number of reasons, from my weekend trip camping and from so much mental energy that I was putting forth with all the things that I'm creating for content and writing. And it was like, I just needed rest. And sometimes we need to just allow ourselves the thing that we need the most. And if I were to look at myself and be like, oh, you're terrible, you didn't do those exercises that you planned to do, you're a bad person. No, I did not meet the exercise demands of the day. As long as I get in 3 to 5 workouts this week, I'm still good. The fact that I didn't get it yesterday, no big deal. I'm going to keep moving forward. It doesn't mean that we want to be perfect, but sometimes we're just not going to hit every single thing perfectly. So focus on the things that we did accomplish. So I looked at the things I did accomplish. I did get my laundry done, folded, and put away. I did get the dishes done, and put away. I did get some writing done and journaling done and reading done. And I got different planning locked out for the rest of the week. The point is, whatever my priorities are, that's what the priorities are for right now to accomplish these particular goals. And my focus needs to be on the victory, the end point of where I'm headed. Like, I want to complete these specific goals. So my focus should be, I am working towards these goals. And here's a little check mark. in my calendar or my to-do list to say, yes, I move forward in that particular area towards my goals. If we focused on all the time the negative things that are going on in the world and the negative things that people do to us, because people are people, they're going to do stupid things. It would be easy to stay in a state of depression. And if you look at most of the world, what are people doing? They're on medications. They're escaping with drugs and alcohol and sex and gambling and shopping and overeating, etc. I mean, everybody is escaping in some format, and that is, quote, the negativity. Now, we could focus on that, or we could say, you know what, today I'm going to focus on my goals, and I'm not focusing on the negativity of what's going on in the world. I'm aware that it exists. I'm not minimizing it to make it seem like it's not happening. I know it's happening. Inflation is high, and things cost more money that shouldn't cost this much money, etc. I can look at those negative things and say, yes, they're there, but I'm not going to surround all of my conversations talking to people in my day saying, hey, what do you think about all the bad inflation? Like, I'm not going to keep that particular conversation going. I'm going to notice that it's there, and I'm going to plan for it accordingly. I'm going to say, okay, I'm going to order some other ingredients that are shelf stable, and I'm going to do that now so that I have some backups and some inventory, because I don't want to be without these items. So I'm going to be proactive, that I'm going to get the necessary things that I need, and I'm going to be prepared. And so then that's going to take away that ease and that anxiety that might be present if I wasn't being prepared. If I wasn't being prepared, then if I'm only buying enough groceries for just that particular month, and then something were to happen, then I might be scrambling around because I ran out of food. But if I'm planning that, hey, I'm going to have a couple extra cans of food. I'm going to have a couple extra, packets of protein powder, what have you, for my smoothies. The point is, I'm just being prepared in what's going to ease my mind so that, if the power goes out, or when the power goes out, or whatever, I am not going to be stressed out. I have a plan in place of how I'm going to deal with myself in those circumstances. So it doesn't mean that we're not saying that bad things will never happen. And it's not saying that we're like being naive that, as a Christian, we're not going to suffer any persecution. We are going to suffer persecution. And Paul clearly tells that to us, like, we may all experience a violent death. But if every day I woke up and I thought about all the ways that I could be killed, that would make me pretty depressed. But if I just know that that is a possibility, but I've accepted that, as far as standing in my faith, that's a real possibility, when that day comes, I'll deal with it. I know that God has got me, and that's where I need to put my focus. Again, on God, on the Bible, on inspiration that is going to continue to, make my mind in a place that I can handle the difficulties that are thrown at me. So, think on things that will uplift you, and think on things that are going to inspire you to become greater. For me, it's reading the Bible, whether that's Psalms or Proverbs. I do that every day. Then I'm led to whatever particular chapter or portion that I need to read to be like present with for that day. So it's a personal relationship that you have with the Lord, and, just listen to his calling, listen to his urging, and you will be led in what he wants to school you in and where you need some extra help and support. So I hope this was helpful to you, and I hope you put the salt in your day. Have a good one.